everyone, my name's Linda. I have made for you guys today a core workout for all of you guys that are stuck at home. So a lot of people think core and they just think the rectus abdominis muscles, which are these guys up here, but really the core is made into 4 parts. So there's the upper rectus abdominis, the lower, the obliques on either side, and then the back muscles. So the core acts as a stabilizer for the entire body. So this is a routine that covers all different parts of the core, includes a warm-up at the beginning and a cool-down at the end. There's 8 different exercises broken up into 2 groups that we'll do twice. So just think 2 groups, twice, 4 groups. So we'll go ahead and start with the warm-up, which is just toe taps. So for the warm-up, most of this is going to be done on your back. So when you're on your back, you want no space between the small of your back and the mat and the floor. So for the warm-up, we're going to pick up our feet and our knees to a 90-degree angle. And we're just going to pretend like there's a piece of paper underneath the small of our back. And we don't want to lift, or we don't want to have any space between the small of our back and the floor. So to do that, we have to kind of think reining our belly button into our spine. So keeping that position, keeping our core tight, we're going to alternate toe tapping to the ground. And the farther out your toes go, the harder it's going to be. But since this is just a warm-up, we can keep them at 45 degrees for here. So throughout this whole routine, the most important thing to remember is good technique. So when you're working on core, you want to focus on pulling your belly button into your spine. And when you have bad technique, that means you need to modify it to make it a little less challenging. So throughout this video, I'll have modifications to make it more challenging and modifications to make it less challenging, because everyone's at a different spot. Hi, Sadie. All right, so after our warm-up, we're going to get straight into the exercise. The first is going to be legs up and arms up at the same time. So again, we're going to get into our position with no space between the lower back. This is going to be hard. And we're going to make our body stiff as a board, toes up and arms up. Arms down, toes down. So the whole while I'm doing this, we're going to do this for 45 seconds. And the whole while, oh, I forgot to set my timer. Oh no. The whole while that we're doing this, don't touch your toes onto the floor. So it's just toes an inch off the floor. Once they're up, you're going to lift your upper body to your lower body and back down. So the whole time, think about keeping a piece of paper or keeping tension between your lower back and the floor. So I like to inhale, legs down, and then exhale, my arms go up. So you got about 15 more seconds. And then after these, we're going to do reverse crunches, which is going to work our lower abdominals. So in about 5 seconds, we're going to switch to working our lower abdominals. 3, 2, 1. So for reverse crunches, we're going to have our legs up in the air, and we're going to lift our lower body up, but not back. So you don't want it to look like that. You want it to look as straight up as you can get with the most control you can get, and then back down. So we're going to do that for 45 seconds. I like to keep my arms up and out of the way. Some people like to use their arms. Another modification is you can use your arms to help your toes go up. But if you want it more challenging, you can just keep your arms on your chest or above your head out of the way, so you're not tempted to use them if you don't want to. So the whole time we're remembering to breathe, don't hold your breath. Try to make the movements as slow and as controlled as you can get them. So right now, I'm definitely starting to feel the burn. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of not used to doing ab exercises anymore. So if you're following along at home, I hope you're feeling the burn as well. So you got about 5 more seconds, and then we're going to go into side plank dips. So we're going to work those obliques, which are the muscles on either side of our abs. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to go ahead and go into side plank. So for a side plank, you should be on one side of your body. I like to use my elbow. And with your straight line from your shoulders to your hips, all the way down to your heels. So for 45 seconds, we're going to be moving down and up with our hips. a modified version of this is instead of on your heels, you can be on your knees. Just make sure there's a straight line between your shoulders, your hips, and your knees, going down and up. So you can either do this on your hand or you can do it on your elbow. I like to do it on my elbow for more stability. And again, the challenging version is to do it on your toes or on your heels instead of on your knees, but both will definitely work out your oblique. So if you're on the right side, the oblique that you should be feeling the burn in should be your right oblique. And again, lots of people think that if you do 1,000,000 crunches, then you're gonna get great abs. And that's kind of not so much the case because your abs are more of a muscle used to stabilize the rest of your body. So the way you work it out is by using it to stabilize the rest of your body. So if you do 1,000,000 crunches, it's not quite the way to get killer abs. And 45 seconds up. Let's go ahead and do them on the other side, just so we're nice and even. Again, you can do them on your toes, or you can do them on your knees. Just make sure you're going as far up as you can, as far down as you can, but don't hit the mat. So you want to get that nice inch space between your hips and the mat. So that way we make sure for the whole 45 seconds we're continuing to work. You can have your hand up or on your hips. Feel if my hand is up, then that's less weight on my hips there. So again, we're gonna go through every exercise twice. So this is only the first time we're doing these side plank dips, so we'll see them again. And once 45 seconds is up, we'll go over to Supermans. 3, 2, 1. So for Supermans, we're gonna work the back of our core. So we're going to be on our stomach for this one. And we're gonna have bent arms and then have our legs off. So the important thing about Supermans is that you're trying to keep your legs as straight as possible. If you want a more difficult version, you can straighten out your arms. If you want a modified version, you can bring your arms back. So we're gonna be here for 45 seconds. So there's not a lot of movement in Supermans. You can add some swimmers, you can add movement to the arms, but it's not really necessary. And you can use Supermans to take a nice breather, to take a break and breathe from the other stuff we've got going on. Sometimes Supermans are hard for your hips. If that's so, if you're doing a mat, if you're on a mat, then you can double up the mat. So it's a little bit protection for your hips. 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right, so we've done the first routine one time. So we're going to take a 30-second break and then do that again. When we're done with that, we'll go to the second routine, do that twice, and then we have a little surprise at the end. So let's do the routine all again, 45 seconds on, no breaks between the exercises. Let's go ahead and start with legs up, arms up. Again, try to keep your core engaged, which means think about pulling your belly button down and into your spine. So you don't want any space between your back and the mat. Let's go ahead and start. Legs up, arms up. So when my legs are going down, they're not actually hitting the floor. They're always engaged. My upper back never really lays on the floor, not really resting in between these. So I'm always engaged. Again, I like to exhale as I come up, inhale as I come down. That way I don't forget to breathe, because it's so easy to just hold your breath and try to make it through these exercises, but I promise you, it'll be so much better if you keep breathing. So we got about 15 seconds left of this. Then we're gonna go into some reverse crunches. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leave those legs up, get the hands out of the way. Try to make a slow and controlled motion, straight up and straight down. So try to limit the amount of back and forth your legs go,
try to control it straight up and straight down. So again, the more controlled your movement can be, the better it is. So I see a lot of people at the gym who just want to lift the weights around and don't really have a lot of control, but it's really in the control where the strength is. Because if you're lifting a lot of weight, but you're not in control of the weight, you're not really doing the best for your body. So all of these movements, all of these exercises I have today are stuff that you can do anywhere, in your apartment, in your bedroom, on vacation, in a hotel. 3, 2, 1, we're going into the side planks. Again, we're gonna work the obliques, which are the muscles on the side of the body. So again, the modification for this is on your knees, down, and then up. As far as you can go. I like to have my hands out of the way, just so I can really concentrate going as far down as I want and as far up. So again, these exercises are ones that you can do anywhere. It only takes a couple minutes to do this, and hopefully you're absolutely good for the whole day, or if not, even the next day too. So we got about 20 more seconds on this side, and then we're gonna go on to our other side. Again, the modification for this is to make a straight line between your shoulders, your hips, and your knees, and still go up and down with the hips. We got 5 more seconds. Then we're gonna switch to the other side. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch to the other side. So the great thing about planks is that, yes, they're a great core workout, but also it's a great stabilizer for your shoulders too. So you should feel the burn in the side of your body that's closest to the mat, and also maybe in that shoulder as well. Again, if you have elbow problems, you can also do these on your hands. That way you get a little bit more leverage. That way your hips have more space up and down to go. So you want to go as far down as you can, and then as far up as you can, trying to get this muscle to stretch and then to contract, which is how we build muscle. Yay! So we got about 10 more seconds here, and then we're gonna go to our Supermans. Again, that's for our back body, so we're gonna be on our stomach for that one. 3, 2, 1. And going to our Supermans. Boy, I've got a lot of room here. You wanna make your whole body stiff. I try to keep my head down so my neck is in a straight line. Again, we're trying to reach as far as we can. For a more advanced version, you can keep your hands up and away from you. For a modified version, you can have your hands by your shoulders, just as long as you're not resting them on the ground. That would be counterproductive. Again, I like to take Superman as kind of a break, have a breather, think about what I'm gonna eat afterwards. I just bought some ice cream, so I think I'm gonna down that after this. We got about 15 more seconds here. So again, my glutes are contracted, my legs are as straight as I can get them, my thighs are off the floor. 3, 2, 1, awesome. All right, so we are done with the first part of the workout. It's not over yet. So I have some different exercises for part 2. They're gonna work same muscles in a different way. So the first exercise in part 2, stay with me, is something I like to call capoeira stability. So again, we talked about the abs being a stabilizer for the rest of your body. So this move, you're gonna start on plank position. You're gonna take your right hand to your right foot to right hand off the floor, and then bring your left foot through the space you created and out. And then reverse it. And then put your hand back down. So again, the other way, on the other side, left foot to left hand off the ground, right foot through that space you've created. And then back. Again, that's gonna be right hand off the ground, right foot, left foot through that space you've created, and then back out. Another side, left foot to left hand up, right foot through that space you've created. The reason I like this workout so much is that it really does work the core the way it's supposed to be. So we're using it for balance, we're using it to hold our feet off the ground. If our core is not completely contracted and alive and working, then this move wouldn't be possible. One way to modify this move is by just bringing both feet together and then reversing it. So again, the step through is optional. You can just come here and then back down. So again, left foot, left hand up, right foot through that space, make sure it doesn't touch the ground, out, and back through. Let's do that 2 more times, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. All right, so the next exercise, we're gonna work our obliques with some heel touch swivels. You're gonna be on your back for this with your feet in and your heels close to your butt. Your upper back is gonna be off the floor, arms straight, and try to reach as far over with your hands as you can. So I call this heel touch swivels because what you're doing is you're contracting the side of your body and then relaxing it, contracting the other side. So the muscle that we're contracting is called the obliques. So you want to try to go as far as you can. If you can touch your heels, good. If you can go past that, good. So you want to keep your upper body lifted from the ground, always having your abs engaged. We got about 15 more seconds here. Then we're gonna go into some toe raises. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The toe raises, your feet are up on the ground in the air. Again, keeping that belly button sucked down into the spine. Gonna have both our, hitting the wall here, feet up. We're gonna have both your feet come down to the ground. Don't touch the ground, hover, and then come back up. So again, try to do this slow and controlled is the name of the game. Slow and controlled. Doesn't make sense if you want to use movement, because at that point you're using momentum if you go too fast, instead of using control and using those muscles. So again, if you find that your lower back is starting to sneak up, then that means don't put your feet down as far. So it's more important to have good technique and make sure your body is in the right position than it is to like go down super far or do them super fast. Modification for this is to do switches, which means one at a time. So this is a slightly easier version. So we got another 10 seconds left of these. Again, keeping your core contracted the whole time. If you want to keep your switches up here, that's still a workout. It's all fine. 3, 2, 1. All right, next is going to be swimmers for our back body. Again, almost same thing as before, but we're going to add some movement. We're going to go up with the lower body, up with the upper body, bring it down but not to the ground, up, down but not to the ground, and keep on going this way. All right, almost there. Got 15 seconds left, and then we can see the finish line. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, so we have one more to do. So just do what we did again. And then we've got some plank challenges, and then we'll stretch and we'll be done. So if you made it this far, good job. Keep going. Not done yet. All right, so the first is going to be that capoeira stability. Right foot to right hand up. Left foot comes through the space, making sure to keep it up off of the ground. Back, hand down, foot back. Left foot, left hand up. Right foot through that space you've created. The modified version for this is to bring left foot to right foot and then keep it back. So again, going through that space, kicking that leg out in front of you, definitely makes it more difficult. If you want the modified version, you can just keep both feet next to each other, or you can go all the way through, making sure that that foot does not touch the ground. Again, making sure that when you're in that plank position, that you're fully controlled. You're doing these movements nice and slow. You're trying to contract your abs so that your feet don't touch the ground. 3, 2, 1. All right, so the next movement we have are toe touch swivels for our obliques. Ready, set, go. So every time you swivel from side to side, think about contracting that muscle as far as you possibly can and then going over to the other side. So hopefully you guys are feeling it in your abs by this point. If not, then you can make the intervals longer. Instead of 45 seconds, you can do 60 seconds. Again, if 45 seconds is not your jam, you can change the intervals to 30 seconds with a 30-second rest in between. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead to those toe raises. So again, both legs up and straight, both legs down. The further down you go, the harder it's gonna be. If you find that your lower back is leaking off of the floor, then don't go as far down, just keep them here. So again, remember your breathing during this. Inhale when your feet come up, exhale as they go back down. For the modified version, you can do it one leg at a time. Just remember, for every switch, you either inhale or exhale. Trying to keep the legs as straight as possible. And always, always, always trying to keep that belly button down onto the mat. We got 15 more seconds here. Then we're gonna switch onto our stomach, do some swimmers. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and roll over. We do those 60-second swimmers. Again, if you're on a hardwood floor or some kind of hard surface, I like to be nice to my hips. Have a nice padded surface to start with. Oh yeah, that's way better. All right, so legs up, upper body up. I try to look down instead of look up. That way my neck isn't in a compromised position. So I'm squeezing everything as much as I possibly can, squeezing my glutes, squeezing my hamstrings, my quads, even flexing my feet with my upper body. I'm trying to keep my chest open and off of the floor. I don't want to collapse in, but I want to rise up. You can add movement here if you like. If you're completely dead, just hold the static pose. We've got about 10 more seconds here in our swimmers, and then we're on to the final plank challenge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we have made it through. If you're still with me, that means you've made it through 2 rounds of exercise twice, 4 exercises. We're gonna do one last hurrah. We're gonna do a plank challenge, 60-second plank hold, starting now. So you can either do plank on your hands, or you can do plank on your forearms. The most important part about plank is to push your upper body away from the ground. So I see a lot of people at the gym do plank and they're either hanging into your shoulders or they're hanging low. Both of those are wrong. So when you do plank, you want to try to push your body off of the ground. We push your shoulders away from you, and also try to keep your body in a straight line, but more importantly, try to keep your belly button tucked in and not be in downward dog, and definitely not be concave. So this really helps if you're doing it in front of a workout partner or in front of a mirror. That way you not only can know what it feels like, but you can know what it looks like when you're right too. And then when you do plank enough times, your body will hopefully naturally just go there. But it took me a while till I figured out how to do plank correctly. And when I go to the gym and I see people holding plank, sometimes they have really nice plank form naturally, but a lot of times they don't. A way to modify plank is to go on your knees, and instead of having a straight line from your shoulders, hips, feet, straight line between shoulders, hips, and knees. So if you're doing this, make sure your butt's not up in the air, or your butt's not too far down, you're compromising your back, but having a nice straight line. I'm gonna do it on my toes because it's the very last thing. So we got about 15 seconds left. Again, try to breathe. If you want it a little challenging, you can rock up onto your toes. If you want it less challenging, come down to your heels. But you can do anything for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Workout complete. I'm gonna go through a couple stretches, but the hard part is over. You've done it. You've done your body a service. Good job. So now we're just going to stretch, which basically means lie down and enjoy the time. So feet flat below you. So no need to tuck your belly in at this point. Just take a big stretch with your hands over your head, just like you're waking up in the morning, a big stretch. So again, you want to leave space here because we're just stretching. We're not trying to work anymore. Nice, good morning stretch. You should feel everything stretch, your upper abs, lower abs. Try to pull up as much as you can. My feet are flexed. Oh, awesome. And again, I want to do another stretch. So tuck your heels in towards your bum. Put your shoulders down. We're going to stretch up. Again, you can make it a little bit more of a stretch by putting your hands out. Take a nice inhale and a nice exhale. And then come down. And we're going to do a little bit of stretch for our side body since we did all those oblique stretches. So left hand to the ground, right hand over your head. And as you feel a nice stretch down the right side of your body. Again, you can go a little further if you don't feel it as much. And switch to the other side. So hopefully everyone had a great time. Again, the good thing about this workout is that you can basically do it anywhere. Like I'm in my living room right now. You can do it anywhere. You don't need anything except for your body and maybe a mat or a pillow. Again, you can modify it to make things harder. You can modify it to make things easier.
You can modify the intervals. So I did about 45 seconds per exercise, working exercise, with no time between exercise changes. But if that's too easy for you, you can make the intervals longer. If it's too challenging, then you can do the easier modification or make the intervals shorter. So again, this is your workout. I free it to the universe. It's yours to do what you want with. Just be sure to use good technique and stretch afterwards. Thanks.